Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen, and some of them are like-ins, so shout out to you, like-ins, sending out a lot of love. I hope everybody is having a great day, great week, great whatever it may be when you're seeing this, but I hope you are. And anyways, this is Prologue. This is the prologue of Greater Terran Union, Stellaris Invicta. So yeah, this is by the Templin Institute, and I've gotten this video request a couple of times, and I'm finally getting to it now. But one thing, it's a series, I'm assuming, because it's the prologue, yeah, and then I see part 1. So I can't remember if it was this one, but this doesn't have to do with Warhammer, so, or what I've heard, or not Warhammer, but it's not in the direct lore. It's like made. I'm not too sure. I don't want to scroll to the comments and get spoiled, but let's just kick it off. So I'm assuming if I enjoy this, said to the people who or this is for the people who recommended it, you would want to see me react to the rest of the greater the name, the GTU, you would want to see me. Guys, I'm having a rough morning, Jesus. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when I wake up late. If I break out my little programming in my mind and my schedule, I start falling apart. Let's just kick it off. Let's go. I like the Templin Institute's little thing. Little intro. Prologue. Let's get it. Shout out to them. If you want me to take down my video, I do not mind. Just doing this all
on
for
April
fun.
22nd, 2089, military space surveillance satellites from 9 separate nations began tracking a group of objects that had entered the periphery of the solar system.
Okay.
Within weeks, these objects had been picked up by civilian observatories, and when they became public knowledge, the members of the United Nations Security Council revealed that they were almost certainly artificial in nature and on a direct course with Earth.
Okay.
When the ships finally arrived in orbit on February 17, 2090, the outcome was apocalyptic. A hastily assembled orbital defense network was swept aside, and powerful alien weaponry annihilated dozens of cities in the opening few hours. Whether this strike was meant to force some sort of unconditional surrender or the first step in a genocidal campaign was never determined. A coordinated intercontinental ballistic missile launch from silos and submarines across the world disabled the largest and seemingly most powerful alien warships.
Okay.
Further orbital bombardment would be limited and sporadic. Over the next 7 years, mankind fought a desperate war across the world. In ruined cities and ash-choked landscapes, remnant military forces engaged a horrific enemy.
Are the art pieces that are in the video specifically made for this little like the GTU, this little series that started? Because the artwork is
whose
sick.
Advanced technology and resources made defeat seem inevitable. Over a third of the planet was occupied, and those who managed to escape brought with them reports of horrifying alien atrocities and spires which poisoned the atmosphere around them.
Damn, this is some freaking world building. I'm gonna head to the bathroom. I want to stay focused, so I'm going to make a quick cut. I'll be right back. I'm back. Nah, let's go. This is awesome so far.
But even in the darkest ruins
it's interesting
of the world,
so far, not awesome.
far from the front lines,
Actually, it's awesome.
There were those who resisted. An improvised emblem meant to mark the location of hidden munitions and clandestine airdrops slowly grew into a worldwide symbol of defiance. It was painted onto tank barrels and aircraft wings, carved on the stocks of rifles, emblazoned on artillery shells, and branded on the corpses of the enemy. When humanity achieved the unthinkable and the last remnants of the alien armies retreated from the solar system, this symbol was placed on the flag of a new nation, one that united all of mankind. The Greater Terran Union.
The Greater Terran Union, okay. I'm gonna still call it the GTU.
Yet in its earliest days, it existed simply as a last-ditch effort to prevent the complete collapse of human civilization.
I was gonna say annihilation.
While the enemy had been defeated, the planet was in ruins.
Yep.
The global economy had been erased, famine was rampant, and the highest governing bodies of every major state had been destroyed,
It sounds like this is naturally going to happen without alien influence.
alongside tens of millions of their citizens. As the last organization still capable of operating effectively, an international coalition of various military forces assumed the responsibilities of civil governance.
Okay.
With the survival of humanity in question, the measures taken were severe: strict rationing, a mandatory one-child policy, and widespread martial law. Every available resource was put toward reconstruction, and opportunities only afforded to those whose knowledge and expertise could directly benefit this great effort. Millions more would suffer and die in vast relief camps where the barest necessities were exchanged for grueling physical labor. The price was immense, and even those in the highest echelons of the provisional government were horrified by the actions taken to preserve civilization. Across the decades, however, the situation began to improve. Crop yields increased, global communication was restored, cities were rebuilt, and the harshest measures imposed on the population were repealed. Eventually, manned space flights resumed, and the dissection of derelict alien starships still in orbit revealed astonishing new technologies and fields of study. Every effort was made to prepare the planet for a second attack, but by the middle of the 22nd century, it had still not arrived.
Not surviving
In
that.
2153, plans were announced that would see the emergency military coalition dissolved, replaced with either a worldwide civilian government, or perhaps, according to a few proposals, divided into several sovereign states resembling the pre-war nations of Earth. In a planet-wide referendum, the first and only one of its kind, the fate of humanity's post-war government was left in the hands of its people.
Is that like a child with a gun in this drawing? Do you see that right there? Look. Is that like a child with a gun? This artwork is literally amazing. It's reminding me, like I love the drawings, the artwork. If you know me, I love it. Anyways, what I was saying was, damn, this can almost sound like a full game or a full movie with how it's building. But at the same time, I was like, I kind of understand why some of these don't become a part of those, because like you kind of see the trope done a lot. Not that this isn't unique, but you know, aliens, destroy the planet, famine. I don't know. It sounds like really reflective of things that seem like the planet's already heading to. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless,
in an
still
unexpected landslide, humanity placed its faith in the system that had led them through reconstruction, transforming the emergency military provision.
What happened? I'm on the video. Okay. But I could easily see being dropped into this world as like a character. Either one on the side of the military from the perspective of the military, or maybe a higher up that has to kind of deal with seeing everything go down and walking past the streets of what civilization looks like.
Government into the sole governing body of the human race. On July 11th, 2156, the Greater Terran Union was proclaimed. The most striking aspect of this new society is the implementation of a tiered citizenship structure.
Okay.
A mandatory 4-year period of national service, either within the military or other recognized institution, grants every citizen certain rights, while higher tiers and their associated privileges and responsibilities are typically accessible only to those who have achieved a high ranking within the Union's national reputation system.
Hell no. A
Citizenship
mandatory
tiers determine everything from the type of employment a person is allowed to seek and whether limitations exist on their freedom of movement, all the way down to the amount of water allotted to their showers each month. The system remains fluid, with citizens often gaining and losing tiers multiple times over the course of their lives.
Oh, hell nah.
A reduction in a citizen's tier is one of the most common sentences for minor crimes, with usually specific criteria assigned for its reinstatement. While advances in technology and production mean that even the lowest tiered citizens can enjoy comfortable lives, the system serves to promote duty to the state and a responsibility to humanity as a whole. It also acts as an effective tool used to combat wastefulness or corruption, albeit at the expense of personal liberty. The predominant status of the military within the Union citizenship structure means that almost every position of authority is held by individuals who have either completed their service or remain a part of the armed forces, with rare exception. While the government and military remain nominally independent of—
This sounds wild. This is really good. I keep moving this around. I'm just addicted to moving this around. Well, holy moly, it seems like, it's just like, yeah,
one another.
This is really
the Greater
cool
Terran
world,
Union has increasingly come to resemble a stratocracy as the lines between civil and military service become harder to discern.
Yeah, makes sense.
Executive power is held collectively by the National Council, composed of 21 marshals, each responsible for leading one of the nation's federal executive departments. Criticism that this council has been too slow to respond to time-sensitive issues and too weak to lead the powerful federal bureaucracy has led to the appointment of a High Marshal, a position accorded the status as first among equals and granted special representational duties. Marshals are typically appointed to serve a 20-year term, although various circumstances can result in longer or shorter periods of service. Legislative powers are held by the National Assembly, a unicameral body that has grown to become almost ceremonial in nature, having rarely rejected a government proposal in its history. While a de facto single-party state, various opposition parties approved by the Greater Terran Union maintain nominal representation within the Assembly, although all must remain subordinate to the national interest. Both the National Council and Assembly are headquartered in London, owing to that city's status as one of the first major metropolitan areas restored in the post-war era. London also serves as the regional capital of the Albion Commissariat, one of 17 administrative divisions established across the world.
Something that popped in my head that was really funny was that, of course, London would be one of those restored places, and then I was like, you know why? British people just come off so nice, or the accent itself was like, wasn't it deemed like one of the most friendly accents, the British accent or something like that? Or, well, I shouldn't even call it British, I should call it like the true English, because isn't our English like stolen pretty much? It's like secondhand. That also brings me back to a funny Uber driver moment I had where this dude, man, he looked really young. It was like a, you know, I sound like I'm about to go into FBI mode. Look at the jacket. I got the jacket and everything, and I'm like, he looked like a, fairly in the dark light that there was a black male, kind of looked a little bit, aged, not aged, but adult in pattern, but he seemed pretty smooth, but nonetheless, he was British, but it just turned into such a funny conversation. He was telling me about like how, like a bunch of stuff. He happened to be pretty old, which was crazy. And damn, he told me to save his Uber thing so like I could like request him or like talk to him, but I forgot to. But he was so cool, full on, had the whole accent. It was heavy too, and he was telling me this funny story about a lady who told him that like she couldn't understand his accent and like why doesn't he go back where he came from, and he was telling me it was super funny that he was like, but my accent is the original English, like what are you even talking about? It was just fun. I thought it was just funny, and he wasn't hard to understand at all, so maybe that lady was just not happy. I don't know. It was an Uber Eats request he had. That was just a weird side note, but thinking of London being restored, that made me think about it, and like the focus being on London for this quick second made me think of that story. I don't know. You never know what you're gonna get with me. I'm chaotic, but yeah, I just thought I would share that, so I thought it was funny because like it would make sense that London was a place that was restored or some part of
commissariat,
especially for this being like mostly civilian, or like civilian and military getting hard to discern. This is very interesting.
Roughly
world.
correspond to the borders of pre-war nation states, such as the United States of America or the European Federation, while others govern large sections of the world in such a way never before achieved. A principal goal of the commissariats is to foster and promote the cultural dimension of worldwide integration, in which pre-war nationalist, religious, sexist, and ethnic divisions are eliminated. While no single language has been granted official status, Arabic, Chinese, English, Hindi, Russian, and Spanish are predominantly used in internal affairs. Proposals for a single global language have occasionally been made, without success
That'd be
as of yet.
crazy.
The state's policies emphasize a diversity of identity, combined with a commonality of values with individual practices and beliefs tolerated, so long as they do not conflict with the core tenets of the nation. The ability for every citizen to participate in the civil and political apparatus of the state without discrimination or repression is one such tenet. Not in the pursuit of any utopian ideal, but rather in the pragmatic belief that natural talent which might benefit the human race must be supported regardless of who possesses it.
Oh, that's fire.
The most critical element of the Terran state is the armed forces, which retains the ability to assume direct control over the nation in the event its civil leadership were killed or incapacitated. Land Force Command remains the largest and primary branch, responsible for the operational readiness of the nation's conventional ground forces. A wholly mechanized army, it utilizes a combined arms doctrine in which an enemy's forward defenses are broken by overwhelming force, at which point fresh, uncommitted mobile operational reserves are sent to exploit the strategic depth of an enemy front.
Holy shit,
Air
this
Command
is just
is
the
the second largest
prologue.
branch, dedicated to achieving air and space superiority as well as facilitating rapid global mobility and strategic bombing. Advancements in aerospace technology has seen the deployment of Air Command assets across the solar system, typically unmanned satellites and drones, but also manned squadrons and picket ships. Smallest among the major services is Fleet Command, which maintains a largely automated armada of ballistic missile submarines that continuously circle the globe in anticipation of a second alien invasion.
And funny enough, as that part was playing, there was like a synchronicity going on where I felt like she was just about to say that, because I was like, damn, all of this building and all of this just beautiful world crafting, which is basically the same thing, but all of this, and I was like, what if a fucking second alien invasion just comes through and smokes this shit again with all of this reconstructed shit? I was like, damn, that is literally what I've been thinking the entire time, but I specifically thought of it right there as this started to come up. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is, oh, well, I'll probably tackle it at the end. If I don't,
as developments in space continue and larger ships are constructed in orbit, there have been renewed calls to transition the service into the Terran Union Space Warfare Branch and the creation of a separate maritime service. Land, Air, and Fleet Command all maintain their own separate component services, including specialized naval and orbital infantry, as well as distinct special operational
So what exactly
forces.
are they looking out for
Units
on these
across
planets?
all three services
Or on
have
this
inherited
planet?
the traditions and customs of previous armies and units from across the globe, resulting in an eclectic military culture. While the supreme goal of the military, and by extension the greater Terran Union, has been to defend Earth against any further attack, in recent years a new objective has been declared.
Which is?
Advanced technologies have pushed the boundaries of human expansion, and the devastation wrought across the Earth has left an insatiable need for raw materials and resources. Already, the first mining and research outposts have been established across the solar system, and construction has begun on a wave of starships that will depart for distant worlds. A generation of sacrifice and hardship will soon be rewarded.
Just a weird comment. Could you imagine how loud this place is? Like with the countless, unless they have some technology that makes these ships a little bit, silent or stealthy when entering orbit or whatever, entering a planet's surface. But could you imagine working here as like some of the civilians and hearing fucking all day long while you have to work and do your thing? If you're not like aboard one of these things, and like all the machinery that this planet looks like,
mankind prepares to embark on the greatest journey in its history, it marches towards this uncertain future united in purpose and determined to never be caught unprepared again.
Seems like this whole world is united.
Every wonder encountered shall be utilized, every terror overcome.
Damn.
And when those responsible for the murder of millions are found, every injustice will be repaid 100 and then 1,000 times
wreck
over.
their planet.
The entire galaxy will know that they came to the wrong neighborhood.
Facts.
And knocked on the wrong door.
Facts. I like that. That is cold. Is this the end? That was
In
cold.
Stellaris Invicta, the Templin Institute guides the greater Terran Union into an uncertain future, one you can influence. Every Saturday, we'll live stream our progress on our Twitch channel, and viewers and patrons will have the opportunity to vote on decisions, help name planets, ships, leaders, and more. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up on what happened when the stream is published the next day to the Templin Archives channel. Then, once a month, we'll produce a video like this one, detailing everything that's progressed in the Greater Terran Union's struggle to achieve galactic supremacy.
Holy shit.
The first live stream of Stellaris Invicta begins 1 hour after this video has gone live. We hope to see you among the stars.
Whoa. Shout out to Templin Institute. 333, of course. Hang on. That is sick. What the fuck? It's a whole world they built, and then they're building it along with the viewers. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, I kind of like how everything is united in this world. It's like one big gigantic thing. Because I was gonna say, what are the military forces even doing on the planet anymore? If like the whole thing is basically to just defend humankind now, or mankind. That's crazy. That is actually insane. Wow. So not Warhammer 40k out. Oh, that, yeah, okay, that's sick. This is sick. Yeah, wow, that's sick. It's definitely nice, though, not required to get recommendations that are outside Warhammer 40k from the 40k people. Because like I said again, I react to everything if you see my channel. You know, Warhammer is something I stumbled upon, and like a few of my videos caught fire. So thank you to the few people who recommended those first videos that ended up having everything catch fire here. It's actually been quite the journey, and to see all the videos, or like to see all the other YouTubers videos in the Warhammer 40k base and all that is like great. It's cool to see. It's like, it's almost like slipping into a certain a back rooms of different realities, so it's pretty cool. But nonetheless, much love in Moonlight, and I'll see y'all in the next one. And tell me what you think about this below. If you want me to continue the story, I might just continue it if I ever get time off, but now it is aware. Now, like, I'm aware of its presence here, and that's pretty cool. I love that everybody can interact with the story. Like, that's that's pretty dope. I want to do something like that one day. So, but yeah, and this was back in 2018, so damn, this was probably going on for a while. I wonder how far it got. But than that, I'll see you. Peace.